Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. So let's take a minute. Let's just take a minute. Got a couple of things that I want to just talk about, and it always helps me to start off. Let me turn my music off here. But it always helps me to start off the conversation, especially with the conversation that we have going on tonight. I'm Dr. Tiffany Ross. I am owner and CEO of All To Do Creations and Dr. Tiffany Ross Coaching and Consulting. And I'm usually sitting down, but tonight I wanted to stand up, and for a good reason. Hello. I see my sisters in. Hey, my YY. Thank you for hopping on tonight. Take a minute. Let me know where you're joining me from. Introduce yourself. I am a Southern girl. And so I always tell people that, I was trained that you don't, when you first see somebody, and I know I don't see y'all, but I see your names and I see your comments. I got my Facebook over here so I can kind of see who popping in or comments that I may miss. And I still may miss comments, but please understand that I always go back and look at who's commented, even on my replays, and I make sure to go back and catch the comments after my lives have ended. So let me know who you are, where you're from, where you're joining me from. So we'll give a few minutes for people to come in and share. Like if you're in here, share, tag somebody in here. We're talking about grief tonight. We're talking about how to cope with grief. So share that you may know someone who is dealing with grief directly, who have lost loved ones, or who may just be this time just maybe a hard time for them. Tag them on in the room. Or if you just want somebody to come in and need that extra support, tag them on in the room. Tag and share. If you want to know how you can help further this, how you can help support the vision of Old to New Creations, the vision of Dr. Tiffany Ross Coaching and Consultant, share the broadcast, share the replay, share the content, tag people, save it so you can even you go to work, you can say, hey, I know this girl who's doing such and such and such and such, or she posted this the other day. I think this will help you. Share, save the stuff in your phone. Take notes. Grab something, take notes, have your pen handy. Because I typically, when I start talking, I kind of go fast. So share. Tag somebody on in the room. Grab your note, book, and a pen, and we're gonna get started in just a minute. I'm gonna give you a minute. Give you a few more minutes. So y'all see my cup? A friend of mine named Vera, who is extremely creative. She also, I wish I had. She's created some other stuff. Do I have it? I don't think I have it in here. But my wreath. Well, I don't know what it's called, a wreath. I don't know what it's called, but it's hanging on my door hanger. Maybe that's what it is. It's a door hanger. She created the door hanger that's hanging on my door. Absolutely creative. And I'm gonna have to post. I'm gonna post the picture and post the picture of the wreath too and the name of her business. Awesome. She gave me this for my birthday. Wait, let me turn around. She gave me this for my birthday. Last week I had a coffee cup that says I'm too creative for a 9 to 5 that came from my pastor. And then my friend, when I went to church the other day, handed me a gift, and this was one of the gifts that was in there. And she handed me some other stuff. Let me see if I can. Y'all, I know, like, y'all be patient with me. We're gonna get started in just a minute, but I gotta show off my stuff. Okay, so just be patient with me. Now I get excited when people give me stuff because that's one of my love languages. That's number one. But I also understand that when people give me stuff, they don't have to do it. Like when people do things out of the kindness of their heart, they don't have to do it. So I always appreciate when people do things for me, when they say stuff or when they share. When, like, if you share some of my stuff, like a lot of times I'll say thanks for sharing, because I understand that people, they don't have to do it. Yes, you can tell. So she gave me, because she know that I love to journal, And that's one of the foundations of my business. We'll talk about journaling a little bit later, especially with coping with grief. Can you guys hear me good? I got my little heater on because I stay cold. I'm gonna turn it off. But I want to make sure you guys can hear me good. And I don't want to feel like I'm yelling over the little heater. So she gave me this. It's a planner. I haven't started writing in it yet because I want to wait to 2022 to start writing in it. So she gave me this planner, all in beautiful colors that I love. Now this is on, like, if you can see my keyboard, actually I'm gonna be able to pull it up. This matches the keyboard on my computer. So yeah, I'm a girly girl. I'm one of those people. Like, I'm a girly girl. But it says, they say I'm a dreamer, and it's a journal. It's a journal. This is my journal that I'm working with now, y'all. You see this? So major upgrade. Thank you, Vera. She didn't know, but I needed something else. And this one says daydreamer. But yeah, this one, yeah, it's through. Like, it's coming apart and everything. I'm gonna have to edit this big time, but but still, yes. But thank you, Vera. I just wanted to share those things. Let me put them back so that I can know where they are when I get ready for them. So, have y'all had the opportunity to share and invite somebody in the room? So I posted just a little while ago a poll because I wanted to see, what do people think about suicide. And I know we talk about suicide, it's one of those things that, and we're not gonna, this not what we're talking about today, but it actually plays into some of it. But I wanted to see how people, what people think about suicide, particularly in this time of year, because as a therapist, I've heard so many times that suicides increase during the holidays. Well, true, false? What do you guys think? I don't know if you had the opportunity of polling or answering the poll, but what do you think? Do you think suicides increase this time of the year, or do you think they decrease? What do you think? True, false? They increase this time of the year. True, false? True, false? Do suicides increase during the holidays? True or false? I feel like the Alex Trebek music needs to be playing. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. True, false? Do suicides increase during this time of the month? I hope you answered false, because it is a myth. Suicides do not increase during the holidays. In fact, suicides actually increase during more of the spring and the summer months. So if you've ever heard anyone say that suicides are worse or increase the most during the holidays, they're wrong. That is a false statement. All the research says that suicides increase during the summer and the spring months. So I just wanted to do that as a little poll, just to see where people's thinkings are, especially during this time of the year. So I'm Dr. Tiffany Ross. I'm owner, CNO of Old to New Creations and Dr. Tiffany Ross Coaching Consultant Agency. And our mission is very clear. Like, we want to help women heal and recover from traumatic relationships. And when we talk about traumatic relationships, we talk about things like divorce, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, anyone who's gone through a toxic relationship. And that relationship could be a family member. It doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. So our goal is to simply help people heal and recover from these things. And grief and loss, unfortunately, is one of those things that fall up under our category. So this topic is very near and personal to me because, as I told you guys and have said it quite a bit, that I lost my mom not long ago. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I go through the holidays without her being here? And it's hard. It's hard. And I know if it's hard for me, and I'm a therapist and have all these tools at my disposal, and can look up stuff, and and know other people there I can reach out to, I can only imagine how much harder it is for other people who don't have that, who don't have a support group, who don't have a community, who don't have people that's going to call and check on them. I can only imagine how much harder that it is for them. So I wanted to make sure that I put grief inside of our How to Survive or Surviving the Holiday series. because it's so important. Like research tells us about 14% of the population is impacted by some form of seasonal depression around this time. So why would I not talk about it? Like that's my job. Like that's what I do. Like I don't believe in throwing information at people and half doing things. That's not what I do. I feel like we do people a disjustice when we really don't talk about the hard topics. And as a therapist, as for what I do, for what I believe, my mission of my business, I want to talk about the hard topics and I want to make them normal. Normal to talk about, not normal to have or to occur, but normal to talk about so people can begin healing, so they can know what steps they need to take to begin healing. None of that was in my notes, but I felt like I needed to say it. So, how you can participate with us this evening, I think I opened that up already by saying, please share and tag. And I see some of you have already shared and have already tagged, but please share and tag someone. Tell someone about us. Tell someone about what we do. Tamil Curtis, if you don't know her, she calls people who just kind of promote the vision of the company brand evangelists. So join with me, be my brand evangelist, and share my content, share my videos, share my information with other people because people are hurting. Guys, people are hurting. And a lot of times we know these people are hurting, but we just don't know how to help them. So I want you to help me help them by sharing the content. Sharing the content. So if you stay to the end, I have a special invitation that I want to encourage you to stay on for. And then we're going to jump into the content. So how to cope with grief. First, we got to back up a little bit and talk about like the many different causes of grief or the many different faces of what I like to say of grief. Because sometimes when we think about grief, we think about, well, they lost somebody or someone passed away or died or something. That's what we typically think about when we think about grief, right? Yeah, that's for a long time, that's what I thought about when people would say, well, she's grieving or he's grieving or they lost someone. That's what I typically think about, that they're grieving because someone passed away or has died. That's not always true. That's not always true. Now, I found this little quote that I thought was a really good quote for what we're doing today. The quote says, I'm unsure of what pain or which pain is worse, the shock of what happened or the ache of what never will. So I thought about this quote and I'm like, oh, that's a good quote. This quote really does not always focus on death. It's not focused on death at all, but it is focused on grief. Because sometimes when you're grieving, there is a shock period. You're hurting, there's a shock period, but you may not necessarily be grieving someone who actually died. You may be grieving a breakup. You may be grieving going through a divorce or a family member that once was in your life and now you decided to put boundaries up because they weren't healthy. You may be grieving the loss of that relationship. It's still a loss. That's what grief is. Grief is a loss. A loss. It's an emotional feelings that you get from the loss of something or someone. So you can easily have grief or be grieving the loss of a career. You may have thought, hey, by this time of the year or by my age where I am right now, I thought I was going to be further along than what I was, but I'm stuck. Like I'm still where I was 10 years ago. And you may have to go through a grieving process. And here's the thing about grief, it is natural. It's actually a natural healing process. So, how do we cope with grief? I'm actually in the process now of creating a book, an ebook. It'll be a small ebook of things that I wish someone had told me about grief. I don't think I was prepared. Like I was prepared, but not prepared. And I feel like, the Lord had been preparing me for a while for my mom's passing, but you can never fully prepare for some things. And I wish someone had sat me down and prepared me for what I was going to face. So I said, well, in typical fashion, because that's what I do in my business. Like I feel like I kind of slide in there and fill the gap of where people don't want to talk about things or people don't want to address certain things. Well, hey, come on, let's talk about them. I felt like I needed to create a book that will address some things that I wish someone had told me about grief that I just really wasn't prepared for. But I want to make sure that people moving forward will be more prepared. And the best way for me to do that is to put it in a book form. So be on the lookout for that. It's in the works as we speak. I've already started writing it, but it is a process. This, I like, as I'm teaching you guys, I am actually going through this process too. Like this grieving process is a process for me. So how do you cope with grief? Number one, understand that grieving has many faces. We talked about that a little while. You can be grieving the loss of a parent. You can be grieving a loss of someone who's still alive. You can be grieving the loss of a career. You can be grieving the loss of a relationship. You can be married or in a long term relationship and still be in the grieving process. I know this to be true. I've met too many women have been in marriages or have been in relationships for 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 years sometimes. And they realize, oh, wait a minute, this relationship ain't going where I thought it was going. Or this person is not who I thought this person was. Well, now a part of their natural healing process, they have to go back and really grieve what they thought that relationship was, or what they thought that relationship could be, or who they thought that person was, or who that person could be. It's a natural grieving process and it has many different phases. It's not just grieving the death, excuse me, the death or the loss of a loved one. It is that too, but it takes on many different phases. So, number one, grieving has many different phases. Number two, it's okay. This is how we cope. It's okay to not be okay. It is absolutely okay to not be okay. I I think I might have been okay Thanksgiving somewhat. I had my moments. And we'll get there too on what do you do when you have those moments where you're overwhelmed with sorrow or sadness. We'll get there. I had my moments, but I think it really hit me harder after Thanksgiving. For whatever reason, and I think it's because I was so busy preparing for Thanksgiving, trying to get food and make sure that we had everything in the menu, and because I did Thanksgiving at my house this year, and my mother-in-law came, and so I was so busy preparing that it didn't really hit me until after Thanksgiving, particularly when I started seeing pictures of Thanksgivings in the past that pop up, the memories that pop up on Facebook and all that. And I think that is true for a lot of us. Sometimes we don't realize that we're not okay because we get busy. Like being busy and having all these things that would distract you and take your mind off. Escapism, it's a form of escapism, escaping from the hurt, escaping from the pain. Sometimes it will give us the illusion that we're okay, but it's something about sitting with yourself and allowing yourself the moment of not having those mental distractions, not having people tugging at you like little people like I do, or not having a boyfriend that's calling you, or a husband that's calling you and needs your help, or a friend that needs your help, and people and churches and organizations and jobs and careers and all these things that pull on us. But when we're sitting with ourselves, when we have those moments that we realize, you know what, I'm really not okay. It's like I'm not okay. And it's okay. It is absolutely okay to not be okay when you're grieving. It is false to think that every moment is going to be okay. You may have random moments where you're thinking about last year I was with Tyrone. I don't know why Tyrone popped up in my head, but sorry for the Tyrones. Last year I was with Tyrone, and this year me and Tyrone had a bad breakup, but I still remember what it was like to be with Tyrone. This year I'm lonely. But I gotta show up at dinner. I gotta go to my family house, and everybody gonna be asking me what Tyrone is, and I gotta tell them what happened with Tyrone. Like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not want to go. It's okay to be sad. We talked about that a little bit last week. Like, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay for you to tell yourself that it's okay to not be okay. So that's two. I stayed on that one a lot longer than I was intending to. Then the three, and this is one, like, for my therapist friends, they might get me for this one, but I'm already prepared. I'm already ready. I'm already ready for it. Ditch the 7 stages of grief. There are 7 stages that's out there. They went from 5 to 7, and you can Google them and find out about the stages of grief. lose the stages of grief. And that's controversial. I know it's going to be. Ditch the 7 great stages of grief because they kind of sort of maybe not, maybe exist. And I say that because everyone grieving process will look different. And you may not go through 7 stages of grief. One of those was anger and resentment and denial. Like some of those are in those stages of grief. You may not ever go through those stages. Sometimes, and this is going to be in the book, sometimes you may be happy that that person is not here anymore. It may be a relief that that person is not with you anymore. And that's okay. What if that person was struggling? I'm thinking about death now. What if that person was in pain? You may feel the loss of them no longer being here, but you may be relieved that they're no longer suffering. That ain't in the stages of grief. The stages of grief are not designed for everyone. You may not go through those stages. You may skip 5 of those stages. But whatever your grieving process looks like, what is important is that you give yourself permission to feel what is actually going on with you in the moment, and that you have the proper tools that you need to move through whatever you're feeling in that moment into, I can still live my life and be okay that what was is no longer. You might not go through them stages. So ditch the idea that I gotta do. And I was talking to a friend of mine who had also lost a parent, and she was saying how, and she's an avid reader, and she was looking for content on, like, what do I do? I lost my mom. And she said to me, she said, I couldn't find any content that was relatable. All of them talked about the stages of grief and all of the logical stuff, that typically happens. It's all up here. But what about what's really going on in my heart? What about, me having to actually work through forgiveness when this person is no longer here? And this is also true for breakups too. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not even going to go there because we're going to go there in just a minute. So ditch the 7 stages of grief. Then number 4, honor the memories. Honor the memories and then be open to create new memories. Like both and can exist. Like you can honor the person, even if the person is still alive, even if the person was not good to you while you were together, and and y'all just divorced and y'all got these children, and you can honor the fact that y'all have these children together, even though the relationship didn't end well. Honor the memories, but be open. Leave your heart open to create new memories. We talked a little bit about that last week. Be open to create new memories. Be open to create new experiences. It does not mean that you don't remember that person or that you're not honoring who they were in your life. It just means that you're finding a way to keep going. And that is what is important when you're coping with grief. And then number 5, let go of past reminders. I know they conflict because first I told you to honor the memories and then create new memories. And then I come right behind it and I say, let go of past reminders. Now, here's where I'm talking about this. When I'm talking about letting go of past reminders, y'all remember when I was talking about breakups? This is where this is important. If you have been in a relationship and you're so, I miss them, and but I still want to hold on to them, and I still need to call and text, and we still gotta go, and we still both gotta show up here, and we still gotta do this, and you can't move forward if you're still looking in the past, boo. You gotta let go. And sometimes this is true for grief. Well, this is grief. In order for you to move through the process, the journey, and grief is a journey. It is a journey. It is one that will not happen overnight, and no one can tell you the beginning or the end. It is a journey. It is a process. In order for you to move through it, there's some memories that you cannot take with you. There's sometimes that you have to let go of things in the past. And how you know that you need to let go is if it's hindering you from moving forward. If you're still holding on to things that happened to you 10, 15 years ago, or people that left you 10 or 15 years ago, and you can't move forward because you still stuck there and all this, and you 40, what, beloved, how many more years you got left in your life? How many more years you got left in your life? You won't, we're gonna be, I mean, we're gonna be single. We're gonna be single for the rest of our lives because of a divorce that happened, 10, 15 years ago. We're gonna make these inner vows that we're not gonna love, and we're gonna not gonna connect with other people, and because of what happened with Tyrone. No. Sometimes we need to let go. And it's okay. It's healthy. It is healthy to let go in order to move on. And we have to. So I hope I explained that. Yes, they did conflict. I knew they were going to conflict, but I wanted people to know that sometimes you can honor the memories, but there are some memories. Go throw away the box from the old. Now we grown, y'all. We shouldn't be keeping no boxes from people that we dated in high school and junior high. Them people weren't gonna stay with you no way for the most part. I don't think. I'm trying to think of the friends that I had in high school. I don't think we really even talk. Like we get together, like we'll see each other. We have us friends on Facebook, but like that when I'm really having a hard time, I'm probably on the phone with my sister for 2 hours, or 3, or 4. that, but usually the stuff that happened or the people that was with us 10 years ago, if you still got friends that are that close to you, 15, 20 years, you hold on to them. Those are good friends. But why are we keeping boxes and love boxes of notes and all this and letters and cards and all this from exes? And how are we doing that? Why are we doing? We grown. We too grown for some of this stuff. I'm sorry. That's a rant. Like what I would look like. I'm 38. What I would look like still having boxes of notes and memory, and we say we want to move on, and we say we want a spouse, and we say we want to, how we still got old, how we still tied to old t-shirts and jewelry and all this stuff from the past. Some stuff, when you're coping with grief, you need to let go. You need to let go. You gotta let go if you want to move forward. You got to. Okay, so now like I've given you some tools, or some kind of basic tools of what coping with grief will look like. So what do you do? Like when you're sad, you're hurting, you're feeling overwhelmed. And sometimes during grief, you will become overwhelmed with emotions. Like, tears will come out of nowhere. A memory will be triggered out of nowhere. You may step in the movie theater and remember when you went to go see the Avengers with Tyrone. The memories may come from nowhere. Like, you may be bombarded with things that happen from the past at any moment. Like, what do you do? What do you do when you're hurting? What do you do with how to cope with the hurting? It's inevitable. You're going to hurt. You're going to have a period of time where you're going to be hurting. It shouldn't last forever. If it's someone that you lost, the hurt should not last forever, ever. You may have a piece of you still missing. You may have times that you're still going to cry. I do. And it's still fresh for me. You're going to have those times. But it shouldn't stop you from keeping going. So here are some things that you can do. And these are things that I practice myself. One, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Like, do daily check-ins. Like, I have a friend that calls. We at least talk once, twice a week. She'll call, and the first thing she'll ask is, how are you? Now, I'm a Southern girl, and I know some of us are from the South. Typically, when we hear people say, how are you? What's our response? What's our response, y'all? What is the typical response? Somebody like, hey, girl, how you doing? What is our response? What do we say? We typically say what? I'm doing all right. How are you? At least that's what I say. That's where I come from. That's what we say. I'm doing all right. Knowing you lying. You just had a breakdown at the house before you even drove up there, before they even saw you. You done had a whole full-fledged breakdown. You're not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. Remember that? It is okay. I want somebody to put that in the chat. It is okay to not be okay. It is okay. Listen to yourself. How are you feeling? Do daily check-ins with yourself, especially in the when you're feeling sad and overwhelmed, or if you're busy, busy, busy. Do daily check-ins with yourself to see really how are you doing. Listen to yourself. Challenge negative self-talk, the negative things that you may say, the guilt. Well, I wish I would have did this, and I wish I would have had did that, and I wish this, and all the guilt and of things that may have happened in the past that you wish were different. I wish I would have had the opportunity to spend time with them. I wish, all the negative stuff that comes up. Challenge those thoughts when they come to your mind. Don't just let them come and roll with them. Say, nope, I done my best. I'm glad that I spent the time with them that I did. I'm grateful for the years that I had with them. Thank you for my children that came out of that relationship. Thank you for the experiences that came out of the relationship. Don't let them negative thoughts just bombard your mind and stay there. If they stay there, they're going to take control. And we don't want nothing taking control of us that we don't give permission. And if you let the negative thoughts stay there, they will take control. They will take control. And before you know it, your whole life is full of fear. The decisions that you make are full of fear. Okay, let's move on from that. Then don't enter a new relationship. I gotta sip me some water on this one. Because I kind of stumbled through them words. Don't enter a new relationship. Do not go into a new relationship while you are grieving. Sweetheart, don't do it. Don't do it. Give yourself permission or time. Give yourself time to go through a little bit more of the process before you decide to enter into a relationship. And here is why. Sometimes we can enter into relationships because we're lonely, or because that relationship distracts us from how we feel in the moment. And no one deserves that kind of, no one deserves that. You deserve more, and they deserve more. You deserve to show up fully, and they deserve to show up fully, and they deserve to reap the aspects of you showing up fully. Don't enter a relationship while you're grieving. Give yourself some time to heal a little bit more before saying, yes, I think this is the person that I really want to take, I really want to marry, or this is the person that I want to, make a long-term relationship with. But give yourself time. And then the last one is journal. I showed y'all my journal. Well, one of them. This is the new one. This is the new journal that I can't wait to start writing in. And I absolutely love this journal because at the top of it, I'm gonna have to ask her where she got it from so I can link it in the comments for people who want it. But it has the dates underneath that you can just circle, and then it has the months where you will know exactly what day it was that you wrote in that journal, on this entry in this journal. Journal. Take 10-15 minutes a day. Now, if you know anything about Joshua Smith, if you don't, go follow him. He did an excellent teaching. He's actually my pastor, Apostle Joshua Smith. Joshua P. Smith Ministries, I think, is his page. He actually did an excellent teaching the other day. I shared it. If you're in my group, go back and watch that training because I shared it inside of the group on journaling. Excellent teaching. I'm not going to reteach it. He did a wonderful job, but I am going to say take 10 or 15 minutes a day and journal. Pour your hearts out. Now, I'm not talking about this little surface level stuff that we do with journaling, because a lot of people say go journal, and you like, what am I journaling about? I don't know. What am I journaling? I'm not talking about the little surface stuff like I ate such and such and such and such. I'm not telling you to keep a food journal. I'm not a nutritionist. Look at me. I like to eat. I'm a thick girl, and I actually like being thick. Okay. I love to eat. So I'm not telling you to keep a food journal unless you need to keep a food journal. But what I am telling you is get off the surface. Go deeper than what you normally would. Pour your heart out like you are talking to your mom, or someone that you care about, or someone that you know you can safely confide in. Pour all of your heart out, because ain't nobody gonna see it but you in the journal. And the Lord, I'm a Christian, so I can say that. Them the only people, if you hear my little person, he's in the background. And the Lord, that's the only people gonna see. But what happens is you're able to get out all of those emotions on paper. And over time, you'll be able to see where I grew from that, or I'm healed from that. This was hard this day, but now, I'm able to actually go out by myself now. I can go eat dinner by myself. I don't need nobody there. Like, I'm that feeling of loneliness, the loneliness has disappeared. It's because I've processed through some of those emotions. I've processed through that relationship. And now in January, I might have been an emotional mess. And here I am in March. I'm better. So journal helps you see and track your progress. So here's what I want you guys to do. I told you if you stay to the end, I had a invitation that I wanted to share with you. So starting next month, I actually did this month, earlier this month, but this next month, which is like tomorrow, December 1st is tomorrow, I am opening back up my free coaching and live Q&A. So I know that sometimes we just need the extra support, or we know somebody that need the extra support, or somebody that just can answer questions that you can answer, no ask no one else. So I wanted to make sure that I open up my free coaching and live Q&A on a regular basis. It's going to open up just about every month. So on December the 9th and 10th, I believe it's December the 9th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and December the 10th at 12 noon Central Standard Time, I will be hosting a free Zoom coaching. So here's what I need you to do. I have the link right here. For those who are interested in the free, it's absolutely free, no cost to you. You can come in, you submit your questions in advance. I will answer your questions live. And if you want, I can bring you on camera and we can actually walk through your questions or whatever problem, the situation that you're having right there live. And see, the beauty about group, kind of the group concept, is what this is, because you won't be there alone, is that we learn from each other. So a lot of people would ask questions, but they too scared to ask them out loud. But if someone else asks them, it's the same question that you had. So don't think that no question is too big or too small. Let me find my link here. Right there at the bottom, go to bit.ly or Lee /DTR coaching to sign up for our free coaching event. It's 2 days, guys. December the 9th at 7 p.m. and then December the 10th at 12 p.m. You get to choose whichever one that you want to come to. And then it will send you a link so that you can access our Zoom and show up on our Zoom. Now, here's the thing about Zoom. The reason why I wanted to do it on Zoom, because to me, Zoom is private. You can show up on Zoom. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to turn your sound on. You can change your display name. Won't nobody even know that you're there. Only person that will know that you're there is me, and that's because I know who registered. But the other people don't have to know that you're there. And then you'll get the replays. So sign up, because the only people that will get the replays are the ones who sign up. Sign up for that free live coaching where you will have the opportunity to ask and submit your questions in advance. Or if you want to get free coaching live, which I'm kind of excited about. Like, I hadn't had anybody yet that, wanted to do the live coaching. But I'm absolutely excited about bringing people on camera and doing live coaching right there, so people can get an opportunity of how I problem solve, how I work with my clients. If you ever signed up with a one-to-one or the consultation with me, you get the idea of how I teach. Like, this is teaching for me, which I enjoy and I love, but coaching, oh my gosh, that's my juice. Like, I get excited about that kind of stuff because I love to see transformation. I love, like, that's my passion, is to see people win. It's my passion to break old ideas and stigmas that we have about things. And we have so many stigmas surrounded around mental health, surrounded around relationships. And I know that when I'm looking at somebody, y'all, we're not even gonna talk about the Danny Lee situation now. The baby, and then Lee, y'all might not know what I'm talking about, but I watched the live and I'm like, baby girl, you don't, okay, well, maybe y'all know nothing about the baby and then Lee situation, but I posted on my Instagram not too long ago about Giselle Bryant, one of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and the Pastor Bryant situation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to coach them. Like, I need them to come to me. I need them to come to me. They need somebody in their corner to tell them, you need to move on. Like, it's time to move on. It's time for you to get some standards. And yeah, y'all, I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent. Join the coaching. Join the coaching event, the live coaching event. I absolutely cannot wait to see you there. If you have any questions, I've been kind of checking my comments. Oh wow. I thought uh I was checking my comments. Sorry. Um but I don't even see any questions. But if you have any questions, please do submit your questions to me. You can submit them before this live event. I have another one coming up next week at 7. I hope you guys have taken down. It's bit.ly black /DTR coaching, and sign up for the coaching event, y'all. Sign up. Sign up. I want to see you there. I want to see you there. I want to go through my registrations and see you there so that you can get your questions answered live. And if you would like to submit questions to me, next week we will also do the 7 p.m. next week, same time, same place. Next week, Facebook Live. I may throw on Instagram. I was trying to work that out tonight, but Instagram just gonna have to get the replay. And then join us back on Fridays at 8 p.m. If you know someone who wanted to come, but they missed their live replay, I will take this replay down. It will not be available after so many hours. I give it a minute to just kind of go back and ask questions or answer questions that I might have missed during the broadcast, but I'll take it down. But the live replay will happen again on Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you know someone who missed it, invite them back for the replay on Friday night. Or if they want to catch it, tonight before I take it down, then they have about 24 hours or less to catch it tonight. But I love you guys. I'm checking questions. I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for your participation on tonight. I have my phone over here where I'm looking at questions. I see several comments. Thank you guys so much for commenting on tonight, for participating, for sharing. I love you all so much, and I cannot wait to see you at our free live coaching December 9th and 10th or 10th. And then I look forward, if not, then to see you back next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m., where we will be talking about, what is our subject for next week? We'll be talking about breakups. We'll be talking about how to cope with breakups, toxic, we talked about toxic relationships. So we'll talk about breakups, divorce, separations next week. How do you cope through the holidays with recent divorce, breakups, and or separations? So we're talking about relationships. I love you all. Have a nice night. Bye.